you doing, everyone? It's Kevin. I'm back with another video. Today we're going to be working on the log arch, and we're going to be working on the back part of the log arch. That's going to be actually the arch and the axles, the whole back end. That's going to be our first step on this log arch. Alright, this is the part we're going to be working on first, the arch. This is right in the back, what you're going to see if you was looking at the back of the arch, the log arch. We're going to bend these pipes here. Instead of welding these and cutting them in 45 and welding them, we're going to bend them in our pipe bender. We're going to cut two of them. We're going to make two of these. We're going to cut them to our 28 and then we're going to weld them together. We will be putting a couple gussets in here. We're going to put a gusset here, a gusset there, one gusset here, one gusset here. Now, I'm still thinking about how I'm going to build these axles. I have the spindle, and I don't know whether I'm going to weld them in a piece of pipe or I'm going to weld them right to this. I'm not sure yet, but I'll figure that out as we go. So, our log arch, our sawmill will only cut 26-inch log. So anything bigger than that is just a waste of material. We're not going to cut anything bigger than 26. So what we're going to do is make it to where about 28 inches inside, and then it's going to be 28 down to this axle. This is part of the arch down to about there. We can actually have 28 to here. I really wanted to keep about 12 inches under the log off the ground. 12 inches. Now, I'm not saying that I'll ever cut a 26-inch round tree and haul it with this thing, because I don't believe it'll haul it, but I don't know. I don't think it will. But anyhow, most of my logs are not going to be very big. They're not going to be huge like that. Most of mine's going to be pretty small. So, this is the part we're going to get started on. Alright, now this is the pipe that we're going to be building this out of. It's about 2 inches round. Some of the log arches I've seen built was actually built a lot thinner metal than this. This is a thick metal. This is actually used metal. This was railing for somebody's sidewalk, and I cut it. They gave it to me. He told me if I could get it cut and take it out of there, I would. But they're actually pretty long pieces, so that's what we're going to be building it out of. Hopefully, I didn't want to build it too heavy, but I didn't want to build it too light either. I definitely want to be able to haul with it. So that is the stock we're going to be using to build this thing out of. Most of the frame is all just scrap metal. Stuff that we had laying around. So let's get it started. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is cut off a couple pieces of this pipe a little bit shorter so we can get them put in the pipe bender. And I'm thinking about 4 foot. That's way more than I need, but that's good because I need more to work with. That way, if I could always chop some off, but it's a little bit harder to add to it. So now we just have our old chop saw. The bandsaw's in the other garage. So we don't have a lot of tools here, but we're going to make do with what we have. So we're going to get these 2 pieces cut off right around 4 foot long. I have both my pipes cut. We're going to throw them in the bender and we're going to get some bends on them here. Hopefully we only have to do this one time. It's kind of a guessing game for me because I'm going to have 28 inches long on this side and only half of the 28 on the other side, so I'm looking at 14 on the other side. But the bend takes up a little bit of space, so we'll see. We'll go ahead and get them bent and see what happens. We want these in a 90-degree angle. And we'll bend them slow because we want to give them time to stretch at steel. All right, I know it don't look like much, but I'm tickled to death. We got our first piece bent and it turned out really nice. So I have the other one in the over there in the bender and getting ready to bend that one next, and we'll have another piece done. Now when I make these, I made these a little too big. Like I said, I'd rather cut a little bit off than have to add to them. So we need to get this one bent now. And they take a little bit of time to bend. They take a little bit of time because I always let that metal stretch. Give it time to stretch so it doesn't kink. And if you give it time, it seems like it does a really nice bend, and that's a really good, strong bend in that. So when I get this one done, I'll get it out and I'll get you guys right back in here. It's all about taking your time and trying to do the best job that you can. Alright, we have both of our bends made now. So all we got to do now is figure out where we're going to cut these all off. That's why I made them a little bit bigger, so we can get them cut off. Now, I cut out a piece of cardboard, and it's amazing to see how big a 26-inch round tree would be inside this thing. So I only want to leave about an inch on each side of that, because to be honest with you, I don't think I'll ever cut a 36-inch tree and carry it with this. And I'm not so sure that it that machine, the four-wheeler, is actually going to pull that big of a log anyhow. That's a pretty good sized log. So we're going to go ahead and mark these where we want them cut, and we're going to go ahead and get these cut off. So we're going to go ahead and put these in the chop saw and go ahead and get it cut off. Now what we got to do is we have to get our length on where we want this to end up at the ball. So, and we don't want it, I wanted this 26-inch, let's say it's a tree, I want it to be right at the axle. That will be the biggest tree that we would ever haul. And I still go back to saying I don't think we'll ever haul something that big. So I'm going to get a length on them. I want to try to get these as straight as I can. Okay, what I've done here is I put a piece of angle iron up here and clamped it in there just to hold these guys good and straight, and measured the 26 inches from the bottom of this angle iron. Since it's clamped in there, I think I did okay. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get these two legs cut off, and we'll have this part done. But I definitely want to double check this because I don't want to have to do this twice. So I measured there down, then I come over here and measured down and got them both 26. So we're not riding lopsided. So we'll go ahead and pull this back apart and get these on the chop saw there, cut off saw, and get them cut. Now that we have these cut at the length, the height up and down, and the width, we're going to go ahead and cut some of this pipe, and we're going to make some nice corner braces in here just to make this very, very strong on the corner. I'm not sure how strong the bent pipe will be, but I thought it would be stronger than welding it. At least we know it shouldn't break there. And I wanted to get the angle brackets to where that 26-inch log will fit up against these two here. Now we're probably going to need something different than this for the smaller logs, but just to make sure that that 26-inch log would fit in there, I want to make sure that I cut these just about right. And I'll just mark these as close as I can by eye, and I'll take them over to the saw and we'll chop them up. Now we're just going to cut these in a 45-degree angle, so 2 45s makes our 90. I do like that I cut that template out of cardboard, because that gives me a good idea of where that log's going to sit in there. So I think this is going to work out fine at this piece in a 45, setting right up in here. We'll cut us another one identical to it and put it in this corner over here. So really, there's not going to be very much of this center that actually has got to take a lot of weight in here. And then on the top, there's actually going to be a plate welded on the top of this too, so you should have plenty of strength in here to hold whatever. I think we bend our axle before we bend this. I hope not, but you never know. So we're going to go ahead and cut one more of these. Okay, now if we really did want to haul a 26-inch log, it's going to fit. I think it'll fit okay. Okay, they both look the same, so what we got to do is we got to get these cleaned up and get this all welded together. Alright, all we're going to do now is we're going to start grinding all the ends up. Everywhere we want to weld, we're going to grind up and clean it up, just so we can get a good weld on it. Alright, as you guys can see, we got it all ground down pretty decent. It really don't even look like the same metal. I laid it out on this big piece of plywood. This is a really good, strong piece of plywood, and it stays nice and flat. So now that I laid it out on there, I know that this arch is going to be nice and flat. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just tack this thing together. We'll get rid of that piece of good plywood, and then we'll weld it up. was doing there is just, it's so big of a gap. I wanted to close that gap up a little bit so I could weld it. Really, the inside of that pipe should have been U-shaped so it would go back up against, but I think this will be fine too. Okay, the first part of our arch is done. As you've seen, I took a torch and heated these up a little bit. If I would have curved that inside of that pipe a little more, would have been a little less welding to it. But I think heating them up and smashing them down a little bit actually helped out a lot. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wire brush this and clean this up really good. So this part will be done. And then we're going to start working on the axles for this bottom piece. This is pretty cool. Just think, that was that old rusty metal. Alright, so we got the arch looking pretty good right there. So now I need to get these hubs to fit this rim. And they fit like perfect, but the lug nut hole, it almost goes in there. I mean, it's really close. The lug nut hole is just a little too small. So I have a 1/2-inch drill, and I thought maybe if I mean, look at that. That 1/2-inch drill almost fits through there. So I'm thinking if I just punch these out just a wee little bit with this 1/2-inch bit, I'm thinking that thing is going to fit in there. You can see I'm not taking very much. Alright, let's see if that worked. I hope so. That was a 1/2 inch. I don't have any other drill bits here. Man, look at that. Oh, it's starting to go in. I don't want to get it stuck down in there. Man, I'm thinking just one size bigger or... Alright, I went down to the garage and I don't have a drill bit that will actually go in a drill bigger. So I got my little die grinder here and just a little bit more on each hole, and guess what? It fits in there perfect. So now what I got to do now is I need to find out how far, when I put this guy in, how far I need my axle to stick out so the arch doesn't rub the tire. So there's a lot of steps to trying to get this to make sure it works right. This is our axle. So, okay, now that I got all this set down in here, what I need to do is find out exactly how long we want the piece of metal coming off of the arch for this. We don't want the tire to rub the arch, so I'm going to figure that out. Alright, I've decided to leave mine stick out about 2.5 inches further than the arch itself. So I need 2.5 inches sticking out of each side of that arch, and I think we can work with that. And I'm just going to go ahead and use the pipe that we already have. I think it'll be just as easy for us to do that. So we're going to go ahead and start working on the bottom piece, these two pieces we need on the bottom of the arch. Okay, we got this piece cut, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this in one piece, but I'm going to ground this out a little bit round so it's a little tighter in there. Unlike those ones up there that we worked on up there, I'm going to grind these out so this axle, this piece here and this piece is a lot tighter. And we're going to weld this on, and then we're going to cut this off. We'll cut these two off. But we don't want to, that'll ensure me that this thing is perfectly straight across, because that pipe's good and straight. So what we'll do, like I said, we'll grind these out, lay that down on there, weld this in, and then cut these two off, and then our opening will be right there. So now we gotta get to grinding. Got a lot of grinding to do. I've been grinding a slot this thing sets down inside of. That way we don't have too much weld up around them. Alright, we did as best a weld that we could around them, because that's going to hold that axle. Now we are going to put a gusset in here, and then we're going to put a gusset over here. And that's going to help strengthen that axle part up. Okay, what I'm doing now is just cutting out a couple gussets for that bottom part where the axles are going to go. We got our two little gussets made. We're going to put one on this side and one on that side. Okay, we got our gussets in there. Everything's been cooled off good. We're going to go ahead and cut this piece out now. We're going to try using a Sawzall. I think this thing will do it. We'll see. Okay, we got a good bit done today. We're going to end this video. Hopefully the next video will be welding in. We're going to shim them axles up and get them welded in. Now don't forget, I'm putting all these videos in a playlist on my channel, and it'll be log arch build. So if you guys want to go see any of the parts or anything that I'm using for this log arch, it's going to be in there. All the videos have been in one spot, so you can go check them out. So I would like to tell everybody thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave me thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment if you'd like. Until next time.